So, hello and welcome people back
Welcome
to...
back to Bloodlight. Hybrid Heaven.
Exactly. Well, this is way
What the
better
fuck?
than... This is way better than Overblood.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say at the last episode, but you know, cutscene.
Yeah.
We lost the best protagonist. What the hell?
Yeah, now we are this guy.
Boo!
And that's like... Why would you... Why would you do that? Why would you start us off with a sexier protagonist and then go back to this guy? It's also
Much
kind
more
of funny.
interesting.
It's also kind of funny how like you start off following this guy who's not actually this guy, and then you're playing as the guy who killed that guy, but then you get transported to this guy who's actually this guy,
Yep.
and now we are fighting a horse.
Horse mutant thing.
Mm-hmm. Horses are pretty fast, and generally, before they actually do anything, their animation is like they'll do that little leg thing. So, in general, the best idea is to just keep moving against most of the enemies. Although here I just wanted to take a few hits. Because I'm next to a save point anyway, and taking hits is not a bad thing in this game, so long as you don't get killed.
Also,
Okay.
I think this is the very first fight I ever saw. When you showed me what Hybrid Heaven was.
That is true, because the only video I could find which like demonstrated somebody half competent had this particular fight in it. And they also pulled out the gun out of fucking nowhere, which is a complete waste, by the way. Don't do that.
Guns are worthless in wrestling.
No, they're not worthless. You just want to save them for the end of the game, where there is one particular boss which just does not work in this battle system, really. But yeah, this is also part of the reason we want to take some hits, because, well, he has some cool techniques and we want them for ourselves.
Yeah.
And the more times we get hit by them, the more chances we get to actually obtain them. And since we're right next to a save point, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I do kind of wish, like, this is one thing that I've never gotten over with the game, with this game's HUD. I wish that they actually had your HP represented as a bar as opposed to the fill-out circle.
Yeah.
Because often you will see me taking a lot of hits and just doing nothing about it. That is because I do not notice that my health has gone down that far. Because I would much rather have the power bar be located on the circle, because then you know you've got the whole filling out part, and they could still implement the multiple turns in it.
Or at the very least, what they could have done is make the health be a brighter color, because the dark blue kind of blends with the black a little bit.
That is true. Like it blends in with the gray and also with most of the environments in this game.
Yeah.
Because you know the industrial theming and what have you.
Right. So
Of
at the
course.
very least, they could have made it like a sky blue or something, you know.
Or green. I guess no, green is already taken by the power bar, but in my opinion the power bar could have easily been something like red.
Yeah. Or maybe like yellow.
Mm-hmm. No, well, orange is already taken for the stamina bar. But yeah, that is the reason why oftentimes I just don't react to it. And the free snout is another pig. as per usual, these enemies are slow and they like to grapple a lot.
As Golden Sun would say, it's an orc.
Yeah, an orc. We don't want to be stuck against the wall because that gives him a little bit too much advantage if he were to hit us.
He misses by a mile.
Yeah, that is actually what shuffling around does. Also, at a certain point, I guess once you get enough speed or something, although I'm not 100% certain of that, instead of shuffling, you do like hops. Although I think that was already the case with when we were playing as Diaz. It may just be different animations, but I do definitely remember our main protagonist now, Johnny, jumping around instead of shuffling at a certain point. Because right now he shuffles. Not that it really makes any difference.
Oh man, he's going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, and that's like one thing where the opponent has pile driver. Yes, one of the deadliest techniques because it does brain damage.
Yeah, I would say so. At least he waited for you to get up.
Yeah, he probably was waiting for his turns. I was hoping that he would just walk into it, but I got lucky. He could have easily countered me right there. And the offense enhancer really
it's
does.
Yellow, because you're fucking almost dead.
Yes, I wish the yellow would happen like at halfway point.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna be wasting a full health recovery since we do have
The save point, so
a save point, as well as the health recovery will do a third of my HP anyway, and we're almost done with it. We're almost done with this fight anyway. See, S rank.
Fair enough. You finally got your S rank, Nico.
And now I have Pile Driver, which is even better than an S rank.
No. The S rank was the real victory here.
And I also have Small Recharger S.
That's not a rank. That's just a fucking
It's
letter.
an S.
It's not an S rank.
But it's an S, and that's what really counts. But yeah, we could actually ignore most of the rooms along this area. However, they have precious EXPs, fights, and new moves for us to learn. So, yeah, we're going to go through all of them. You could just walk outside of the corridor and go to the last room, which actually has what we are looking for. But yeah, these guys make long steps, which is why you want to catch them in the middle of an animation going towards you whenever you can.
I see you're using my logic whenever I play RPGs. Kill literally everything in the way.
Well, in this one it really does pay off because there are, like I said, so many things that you can possibly be leveling up.
Right. Why couldn't Final Fantasy II be more like this?
Yeah, like why did it have to have dropping statistics? And now, as you can see, since the last fight, I have 2 power bars extra. So in total, I have 3.
Good stuff.
However, it's not gonna be a while until we can actually do like proper combo stuff. The combo mechanics are really ambiguous in this game, honestly. On my first run, I have never actually figured them out. And the game does not make it easier for you to understand with the hints that it gives you, because like after making a combo, it asks you to save, right? Now,
Yeah.
any combo that isn't made up of 5 moves is worthless.
Good to know.
Because the combo finishers, which are the real reason why you do the combos, or I wouldn't say the real reason, because the combos by themselves are useful regardless. But the combo finishers only execute when you make 5 moves, and that adds you an extra one at the end. They could have also did a far better job. Zajęty. Dobra. They could have also made it a lot more clear, like what the relations are, like some sort of a hint, like another game that did a combo system which actually worked better was Sands of Destruction.
Yeah.
Where it actually just had a different move per every part of the combo. Obviously, in this game, it would have not exactly worked in the same way, because you can choose any move at any point. However, what it could have done was, for example, highlight moves which will connect better, or like result in a better connection or something like that. And the only guy that they could find which actually mentioned anything about the combo system said, "Oh, connect the moves in a way that is sort of makes sense," and that, in on itself, is just the most brilliant explanation one could ever give about anything.
Just kind of do it.
And you want to know what for example, a standard punch combo is?
Sure.
Right hook, right hook, right hook, right hook, right hook, and right hook.
Of course.
Or there was another one which was like I'm not gonna be mentioning the like specific moves, but like right punch, left punch, right kick, left kick, and then something else. And it's just like that one just kind of thematic, I guess, but a lot of the other times they just don't, and like when you actually experiment with moves, they almost never give you anything. I wish that it would have just been like, oh, you used 50%. It could have been a lot more flexible, and it would have been a lot more fun that way. Because if they're not gonna explain it, right, or make any sense with it,
right?
So, like for example, if you use the majority of punch moves, then you just get a punch combo, or if you use majority of kicking moves, you get a kicking combo, or like if you use upper kicks, then you get upper kick combo or something like that.
Right.
Or if it's mixed, then it's just a different variety, and like those could be a little bit more ambiguous. But when all of them are like incredibly specific, and there are only a couple of these, you know,
right.
Speed and enhancer. Now these are you want to keep them for like the few really hard fights, particularly the end of the game. You can act like the final boss of this game is not like super ultra hard. It's a good challenge, but considering you have to go on a 40-minute journey without a save point before you reach him, you don't want to take chances.
Right.
40 minutes, I add, with unskippable cutscenes. Yeah, I'm still there.
Still fighting a horse.
Yeah, you can be. I'm still gonna be facing the one direction. And in your face. So yeah, for now, comboing is just kind of the case of start off with the one that is going to hit most likely, and then follow with the ones that are a little bit more powerful but less likely to actually hit, or slower. Thankfully, this guy is pretty slow, so I can just pile driver him.
Why not stealth suplex?
Stealth suplex. This is no Metal Gear.
Aww.
You know, there is actually kind of a stealth suplex, or like a stealth attack in this game.
What?
In a way, because there are surprise encounters. There are surprise encounters, and they make it incredibly difficult to actually pull one off, and whenever we actually get one off, you will understand why.
Okay.
Basically, like getting like a advantage encounter in this game is a death sentence to the other side, and the enemies can do the same to us, though rarely, because they don't they barely ever like hide them around the room, and you would know better than to just you know, not look around the room whenever you enter and you hear that noise of them spawning or walking around. So, you know, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I've already entered through here, so that's not where I want to go. And see, because this one doesn't have a spawner, this one does not come back. There is an exception to this rule, and that is if an enemy is on the ceiling. Ceiling is practically like a spawner, right? But yeah, now that we have reached this location, I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna use this convenient corridor over here with the laser block in order to go back all the way to the save point, because, you know, why not? And like I said, I could have just skipped all of the enemies, but, you know, yeah, I would be missing out on all of the treasure, all of the swag, and all of the fights. And as I've demonstrated, all of the fights are very well worth the effort, because pretty much everyone levels you up. Well, this game doesn't level up, it just gives you increases in stats. I so wish this game does not have to did not have to rely on the saving system on the controller pack, because that thing is not only limited, but also tends to break and relies on battery, which is just like, why would you do that? And before we move on,
you needed a new one.
Like, needed a new, I didn't want a new one, I needed one. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, here they introduce traps that fly way above ground, and some of them, I'm not sure if these, but I know that in the future we're gonna get the other kind, will actually drop bombs on us. There we go, there's another thingy. This room is actually completely optional. And yes, this game does have poison. It is, the poison is like pretty bad, because the, like, you get restoration from poison, but if an enemy does use poison on you, they will use it every single time. So it's almost not worth it to bother.
Also, that's a very misleading name they gave that, because what you just got, it cures poison, right?
Yes.
Then why is it called a poison restorer? That means it's gonna restore your poison, which means it's gonna poison you.
Yes. Why not just antidote? It's also less letters.
Right? or just poison cure. Done. You know.
Or considering that there aren't any other status effects in this game, just heal or restore or restore or something. And this one actually had a life charger. But yeah, this I could I don't believe I yeah, because I keep hearing something. I'm bothered by it, and I want to check it out or like get up upstairs, but there really isn't anything.
There's nothing there.
And now we're just going to back, and because he already spawned beforehand, he was just walking around. I could have actually taken advantage of that slightly more. Just like keep re-entering until he was turned around from me, and there was the shot against the wall. It does do additional damage, but not by much. However, it is, you know, numbers aren't terribly big in this game, so everything counts, everything matters.
52.5 billion damage.
It's not a Final Fantasy game.
What are you talking about? This is more Final Fantasy than 15 is.